Savvy Business Radio, drawing out the best from our guests with our host, Christina Nichman.
Join us today for part 2 with David Neagle, founder of multi-million-dollar global company Life Is Now, Inc., helping thousands of entrepreneurs, experts, and self-employed professionals gain the confidence and find the right mindset to increase their revenue. Today we discuss part 2, the origin of self-sabotage, and how the right attitude can shift everything in your business. Find out more about David at davidneagle.com. David, I'm glad to have you back. That was a phenomenal story. The idea that attitude could be the one thing that transforms your life. And, it's that mind shift. And it's happened for me too, with that night where that guy, talked me in, or I let him talk me into getting free services, was the moment that I was like, no, enough. And my attitude shift. Later that week, I made 4 sales. And I called Deborah all excited and, had a little, win party. But, it's those moments of that shift in your mind where you're like, okay, what am I doing here? Let's shift. Let's pivot. And that's my favorite word lately. So how do you begin? Like, you're in a situation and logic tells you there's no other way out of this situation. Now, for you, it was those 3 points of attitude that changed and made the click for you. Where does someone begin if they're seeing a no-win situation? Where do they begin to realize where their sticky points are and where they need to pivot?
Well, the first thing is, and this is something that is also behind what you did, why you continued to move forward even after you made that error, is that you had the desire to win. And a lot of people, they don't want it bad enough. It seems very simple. Sometimes it seems flippant to say that to somebody's dream or their goal. But I think that it's fair that I can say it because somebody said that to me and it changed my life. And here's the story. I was involved in a network marketing company in the mid-90s, and I was doing okay, but I wasn't setting the world on fire, and I wanted to set the world on fire. So I didn't understand why. I was following everything that the company said to do in order to win. And there was a gentleman who was the top distributor for this company who was speaking to a group of people in my home city of Chicago. I said, I'm going to go to this conference, and when he gets off the stage, I'm going to figure out how to get to him and ask him what I'm doing wrong. Because I had heard before, if you want results, go find somebody that's miles ahead of you that has the same result you're looking for. So that's what I did. And I walked up to him. I told him what I was doing, what the problem was. He looked me right in the eye, and he said, you just don't want it bad enough. And he turned around and walked away. Oh, God. And I got so angry, Christina. I was so mad. I was hurt. I thought he was blowing me off. I turned around and left the conference. I started driving home. And on the way home, I thought to myself, what if he's right? What if I don't want it bad enough? How would there be evidence of that in my behavior, in my activity? And all of a sudden, I started to see it everywhere. It was everywhere I was stopping short and staying within my comfort zone and not getting the result that I wanted. So this is one of the first things that a person has to look at. The desire to break through and do something uncomfortable opens up an entirely different world because we have something called the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that any desire that you have, something that you really want or need in your life, if you don't currently have it in your physical surroundings, it must be there. You're just not seeing it. That's an absolute law because everything has an opposite and it's equal and opposite. So if you have a desire for something, the thing that you have a desire for you are in harmony with on a vibratory level or on a frequency level. So it has to be here. And it has to be in your field of surroundings. Like it must be connected to you in some way. When we are focused on fear, we don't see it. When my attitude was bad, I couldn't see it. When you come from a place of, I want it more than anything, and I'm willing to break through whatever I have to break through to see it, that's when it'll appear. So that's when a person goes to the next step. And of course, if you unravel somebody's stopping strategy or failure strategy, you're going to find that in there, you've got to tweak their belief system a little bit. And our belief system is based on our evaluation of something. So if we change the way that we're evaluating what it is that we're experiencing, it allows us to see an opportunity that we never saw before.
This is amazing. What I'm getting and what I've learned on my track to building my business and through the help of Deborah Byrne is really to really, it doesn't have to be hard, for one, because we have this idea, this myth in our culture that anything we have to do, we have to push, we have to be hard. Hard work is awesome. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to put effort in and action. But when you set up the idea, the mindset, you're walking out, oh, this is going to be really, really hard. That's standing up before people. Oh, I'm going to screw up. And then, of course, then you go out and do that. But the other bit of it that was really hard for me to work through is that being uncomfortable. Because the minute you start to go out and be uncomfortable, the people around you that are closest, maybe your husband, your family, your mom, your dad, you're like, well, honey, sweetie, you don't have to go do that. Take it easy. As my friend said, why don't you wait till you have some more money in the bank before you start your business? So, there'll be all of those. How does people work through? Because, when you are changing, like you were changing, and I've heard your story before, the people around you haven't all changed. So they can somehow sometimes suck you into the old mindset. How do you keep moving forward?
Well, the first thing is to realize that what you're saying is absolutely correct. We surround ourselves with people that we agree with, basically, at some level in life. And when we start to change, we force them to change. And it's not like we're saying, you have to change with me, but they have to adapt to your change. People don't like that. So they will try to hold you back. They will try to find things that are wrong with what you're doing. Remember, prior to you wanting to change, they're coming from the same paradigm about life and business that you are. So just because you're changing your mind doesn't mean that they are. What you have to be aware of is that it's unless they're a toxic person, you don't have to get them out of your life. But what you do need to do is be really conscious about who you share your dreams and your goals with. It needs to be people that have the ability, because they've already done it on some level, that they can support you. If you share it with people that don't have that ability, they're going to try to tear you down and hold you back. And when you're first doing it, that belief muscle needs to be built up and supported as much as possible. So to surround yourself with people that can't support you is counterproductive, and it will mess with your thinking because it starts to put doubt in your mind. And once that gets in there, it starts to destroy your belief system. So you have to really pay attention to who you're sharing your goal and your dream with.
Absolutely. That was one of the mistakes I made. I told everyone and my mama, and my mama, and they were like, well, that's kind of nuts. You need a job with health benefits and all that stuff. But, and it's true. You know what ends up happening though, when you stop trying to feel you have to share everything with people and only build this network of people who are on the same track of expansion and growth? Because I couldn't find a group that I felt comfortable with. There we go. It's comfortable. I decided, okay, let's get really uncomfortable and create a small business network group in New York. So I built it, and it was all people who were doing the same thing that wanted to do what I was doing. And so we used to help support each other, keep each other accountable. But what ended up happening, interestingly, David, is that you don't have to get rid of people closest to you, your old friend, your coworkers. They will naturally not want to hang out with you because they'll be like, you're a different human being. I don't know who the heck you are, girl.
That's right. You're absolutely right. I mean, you start the commonalities that you had prior, the things that caused you to be friends or associates, those things go away. And once you don't have anything in common anymore, they just naturally move to a different group of people, and so do you.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I was fighting that in the beginning, trying to keep those relationships going, trying to kind of bring them on board. Oh, you got to hear this, David Neagle tape or whatever. And they're like, no, I'm not into that, whatever. But, by trying to force the issue, I was, giving myself pain that was not necessary and pushing something against them that they were not ready for. But sure. What's interesting is when you let go of it and you go in the direction of people who are expanding like you are, you begin to open yourself up to a whole new group of people that it's wonderful. For years, I'd had the same group of people for like high school, the same group of friends, 5 friends on my one hand, that they're only people I talk to in my life, go to work, whatever. So now that I've, expanded, I've gone to workshops and seminars and built my business and you meet a whole new group of people, and my network of wonderful people have expanded, and now it's so much more richer.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be incredible, the people that you'll meet throughout your lifetime and your career. The first 10 years, like from my age 20 to 30, most of my friends were the people that I knew from high school, the guys and the girls that I hung around with. And then when I started to change, they all left. And it was a totally different group of people that came in, and it never stopped up leveling from that day, the day that I decided to start changing.
Yes. Yes. It's interesting. You had many years ago, I listened to a tape called The 3 Levels of Success or something. It was desire, decision, and action or discipline.
Yeah.
And it was that 3 levels, because it's the first one is you really have to have that desire in your heart that's it. I'm done with this. We're fixing this. And then the decision, poof, we're burning the bridges. There's no bridge behind it. I can't go back. And then you discipline, as you say, you go out and you study and you learn and you grow and you move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what life is about, growth. I think that when we're in that, we feel fulfilled, feel accomplished, and we have a lot of fun in life. It's really fun to be on purpose with your own life.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I want for everyone here. But you had recently talked about goal cards. So let's end there and let people know how they can get started with actually completing their goals.
Okay. So a goal card is basically a piece of paper card anywhere that you want to write down specifically what your desired result is. And you write it in the present tense as if you already have it. Because the moment that you desire it and you build an image in your mind of yourself with it or yourself being it, you have it on the first level of creation. Imagination or fantasy is the first level of creation. That's actually real. It has to happen there before it can, it has to happen in your mind before it can happen in your hands. So when a person does that and they write that down and they carry it with them and they read it or look at it several times a day, what we're doing is we're sending a light message to our subconscious mind and programming ourselves to see the opportunities that will actually fulfill that goal. And before you know it, you'll actually have it in reality. For people that want to learn more about that, they could go to my website, davidneagle.com, and there's a free download there called You Were Born to Be a Success. And they can download that, and it explains everything that they have to do A to Z in order to manifest whatever they want.
Absolutely, David. And you know what? I highly suggest that you get connected with a group of accountability people. You have a wonderful new Facebook page you started for just the goal of getting people started with their actual goals and fulfilling them and being successful in 2019. Transformation 2019, correct?
Correct. Transformation 2019. That came out of our podcast. It came out of my desire to take off a few pounds. Ever since I broke my back and I went through the dam, sometimes it's increasingly difficult to exercise. And I put on some weight over the years, and it was my desire to transform my body. And I said, let's just do this and support it with everybody else who wants to make a transformation this year. And that's where it came out of, and it's been growing like crazy ever since we started it.
It has. I joined this week, and everyone go learn. You can learn every day. I suggest hiring David or another mentor, because every mentor is different. What works for one person doesn't work for another, but hiring David or some other mentor that would be perfect to help you on your track. I mean, every successful person has mentors in their life, and you can listen to the Successful Mind podcast. Also, you have a YouTube channel with wonderful videos that people can learn on. And of course, your website, davidneagle.com.
Thank you, Christina.
You betcha. Thank you so much, David, for coming to share your great wisdom today on Savvy Business Radio.
My pleasure.
Savvy Business Radio broadcasts worldwide via a large podcast network celebrating business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, and successful individuals. Find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest. Call 732-474-7375 or email Christina@savvybusinessradio.com.